I'm getting the band back together as we do another classic edition of Geekdom Q&A. Unfortunately, no Frieza this time around, but if you want to hear Frieza on the Q&A, go to the Q&A playlist on my channel, and you'll get to hear Lord Frieza answer questions. But I have somebody just as evil and just as wicked joining me, the classic team that everybody loves. Please welcome back to Geekdom Q&A as we answer your questions from the Ask.fm. Hail Zeon, the realest motherfucker in the entire planet in some cases.
Yeah, I am back once again.
I'm gonna introduce you next time like they introduced Taz back in '98. The most miserable son of a bitch in the entire business.
That really, wow, yeah, that works really well.
It does. It does. So we're going to answer questions here. I'm going to close this one out. Before we do, everybody, I want to give a quick plug to my podcast. Check out the K-Fabulous Lucha Brothers Wrestling Show. If you like classic professional wrestling, me and Brandon Draven cover all these old pay-per-views. As well as we pick them out of a tumbler, as well as we do full-length reviews and give you an entire history of the time period. There's literally no show like it. Check out the K-Fabulous Lucha Brothers Wrestling Show. You need to do it. It's unscripted like me and Zeon's Q&A, so if you can't handle, controversial humor, it might not be the show for you. So let's get to these questions.
Let's say, but this is your first Geekdom and Zeon Q&A, and you might want to put the kids to bed.
Yeah, you might want to put the kids to bed. This is the first time that you've been on one of these with me and Zeon. So let's go ahead and start right now. What if Beerus tried to bring the real Monaka and he refused, so he brought this thing to motivate Goku and Vegeta? That seems right with what we said, True Colors. The only problem with this theory, and I want to get your thoughts, Zeon, is that if he's not the real Monaka, why the fuck would Beerus insist on having him go on last?
Yeah, I don't get it, because people keep bringing up the motivation. It's like, fucking Whis and Beers are motivation.
I don't get it.
They're like, as far as we know, they're still stronger.
It's literally like the Goku through the fight thing. Like, people just don't think. They come up with these theories. A lot of fans come up with these theories, bro, and they sit there and circle jerk each other and tap themselves in the back, and they're like, oh, yeah, we're so smart. We figured out Toriyama. We figured it out. And then somebody like you or I comes along and says, well, guess what? That doesn't make any sense. And then they think that we're the bad guys.
This fandom is just an ocean of Goku T23s.
All right. Oh, man. You know what, though? I'm going to give Hadir some credit. He did do a pretty good History of Goku video. I will give him credit on that. You know me, man. I'm unbiased. When somebody does good, they do good. Zeon, what is your favorite Dragon Ball Z GT Super song of all time?
Blue Velvet.
That's a great song.
Yeah, it is so goddamn good. Like most people always go for like Chala Het Chala. Like, they always seem to go for intro themes, but that one outro theme for GT was so goddamn good.
I love all of them, to be perfectly blunt. My two favorites, a tie, is Makafushigi Adventure and Umne no Hi, Tamashi Nai Tamashi, Spirit vs. Spirit. Those are my two favorites. But I do love all four of the GT songs. Like, I can't say no to what you're saying. I can't dispute it.
Right.
Do you like?
Yeah, they're all great songs.
Do you like the opening song to GT? I would say yes. Do you?
Don, yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, honestly, even the terrible god awful rap, it's delightful in a shitty kind of cheesy way.
Yeah, and I disagree. I think it's bullshit, but whatever. All right.
Okay, you're gonna tell me that 13-year-old you, if you had never seen the friggin' Japanese dub, probably wouldn't have dug that?
No, I wouldn't have, because I wasn't 13.
Really?
I wasn't 13 when that came out. I was fucking.
Well, I'm saying though, in a hypothetical universe where you were 13 and you thought like rap intros were like the coolest thing ever.
No, because it's not even a good rap. It's not even a good rap.
It really is.
When sand clocks defines the end of I hate that song.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I know. It is god-awful. Like I said, it is a god-awful rap, but I don't know. I enjoy it for its shittiness.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer not to listen to it, but hey, no big deal. Here's one that we get a lot. If Goku uses Kaioken while being in Super Saiyajin form, would his powers double? And if they did, he could use while being SSGSS and whoop everyone's ass. What do you think? I have an answer to this, but
I've always, because like Toriyama seems to always just kind of, he gives these characters these boosts, and then whenever he comes up with a new boost, he drops the old one. He never wants to go back. And it's like, well, why can't you guys stack these? Because because like the Zenkai boost is still like one of my biggest, most irksome issues in the franchise. It's like, why don't you guys just shoot yourselves in the chest and eat a senzu bean
over and over and over again?
Yeah, like just do that for like an hour straight, rinse and repeat. There's that, like the Kaioken thing, because there's a lot of people who are like, well, the Kaioken puts strain on the body, and so does Super Saiyan. So the two forms, it would be too strenuous on his body.
Well, that is my headcanon.
Well, see, that's total horseshit though, because the whole point of the Cell games was to set up the like, oh yeah, they have mastered Super Saiyan.
Yes.
That is it.
So
like, they are in it as if it is like their base form now.
And that's why in the filler, the Paikuhan fight is right after that, so it would make the most sense that Goku mastered SS1 and added a Kaioken stacker. So I mean, it makes sense. Yeah. But to me, I just always thought the Kaioken multipliers were kind of pointless after hitting SSJ. I just thought it was pointless. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, but I mean, like if you could stack them, it would be awesome. Because I mean, could you imagine like Goku going up against Cell in the Cell games if he had just used the Kaioken, just a normal Kaioken on him? That would have been more than enough for him to just wipe out Cell completely.
In some ways, I agree with you. It would have been double the power, or maybe maybe the multiplier just fades after a while. Again, that's all headcanon. We don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Have you seen Battle of Gods at the Falconer Store? It's actually decent from Kevin Plummer. It's all right. I mean, I saw it once.
Like I saw chunks, like bits and pieces. It's entertaining. I really only super like it when they replaced that one song by Flo. I don't know the name of it. I'm sure you do.
Hero?
Yeah, Hero. They replaced that with Rock the Dragon. Just because that was
hilarious.
That was hilarious. That was just so fucking awesome. I was just like, yes, okay, that's totally fucking awesome. Mostly because I fucking hate Flo. I hate shitty generic J-pop. So seeing it replaced with Rock the Dragon gave me a nostalgia boner.
Which is shitty generic American pop. So.
Well, it's shitty generic American rock.
Yeah. And by the way,
but it's shitty generic American rock that I'm nostalgic for, and nostalgia trumps all.
Well, yeah, just ask the community. Two tidbits about Rock the Dragon. One, it is not a Bruce Faulconer song, and two, it is not a Linkin Park song. I don't know where that rumor about Linkin Park doesn't even sound like Linkin Park.
Yeah, it really doesn't. I've heard that before, and it's so weird that people think that. Oh god!
Here's a great.
I see the word weeaboo. I'm already getting annoyed.
It's actually a pretty decent question.
Okay.
Do you think it's a weeaboo thing when people are overly correct by writing and saying Super Saiyan as Super Saiyajin, and you can simply say Saiyan but pronounce it correctly like you do, like Saiyan, like I say Saiyan, because I don't want to sound like annoying weeaboo saying it that way or saying any name exactly in Japanese. I think it just depends. My thing is be respectful to one another. That's my mentality. It doesn't matter, like you and I, all right? Krillin, Kuririn, Krillin in the Spanish dub. As long as you're respectful to the other person, it's fine. The problem is when people come at me or you or Lance and they say that we're saying it wrong when we're actually saying it right, and we have to get somewhat defensive. And Lance takes a very like pacifistic role in it, where he tries to explain to them, and in me, I have a short fuse, and so do you. In some ways, I have a shorter fuse than you do because I hear it constantly, and they're like, oh, Super Saiyan, LOL, like I feel like they're looking down on me. Like, try to do a fucking video like I did about the themes of the Saiyan arc. When you do something that advanced, then come talk to me. That's the way I start turning into that egotistical asshole where it's like, when you even scrape my cum stains when it comes to knowledge, right? Then come at me by telling me that I'm wrong about something. But I don't want to come off like an egotist. What is your view on this?
Okay, I find, like, if someone actually said Super Saiyajin and they were saying it unironically,
I mean,
and they're not Japanese.
Yeah, I say it like kidding around sometimes.
Yeah, like, if you're saying it, sarcastically or ironically, whatever, but when you're saying it, like, you're being genuine, you say Super Saiyajin in the middle of your all-English sentence, it's like, okay, Saiyajin, whatever, I find that a little, whatever. Because, I feel if you're going to say Saiyajin, you also need to say Namek Seijin. Because a lot of people won't say that. They'll just say Namek or Namekian. But then they'll fucking say Saiyajin.
Namek Seijin. That's right.
Yeah. And then, but like Super, that's just a Japanese bastardization of the word super.
That's right. So you should just say Super Saiyan or Super Saiyan or Super Saiyan. It doesn't matter. That's what
Yeah.
I've always tried to say. That in that video about how to pronounce Saiyan, at the end of that video, I say it doesn't matter how you say it. Just be respectful to one another. That was the purpose of that video. And you've still got assholes saying I was wrong after watching the video. Well, fuck
Yeah,
you. Like fuck
yeah,
off.
I mean, I mean, if you want to say Saiyajin, Saiyan, Saiyan, I really don't care. Like, I personally don't care. Like, I mean, so like, I do think if someone's gonna say Supa and they're saying it unironically, it's like the word super jackass.
Yeah, it's an American word. Dragon Ball is a combination of Japanese, Chinese, and English. And that's why it's difficult to translate. You and I had a discussion off air about this, about how, you know, there's Whis and then there's Uisu. There's Hito and then there's Heat and then there's Hit. And then there's also another example is, you know, Oolong. Okay, no, that's a bad example. Chaozu. You know, Chaozu. Chiaozu. It's actually, the Chinese root is Chiaozu, but most of us say Chaozu because that's how they pronounce it in the Japanese version, Chaozu. You know, and then, you know, you can go a step further and say, like, you know,
I thought like the Chinese word was like Gyaozu or something.
yeah,
like,
it is.
It's something like really far removed because fucking Toriyama wanted to give them Chinese sounding names.
Yes.
And so he picked Chinese foods, but he accidentally picked like puns based on the Japanese name for the Chinese foods.
That's right. That's right. So it's like Gyaozu and then Chiaozu, but they pronounce it Chaozu. So, you know what I mean? You're like, which one do we say? But it doesn't matter. That's my thing, is it doesn't matter. Like, look at what's a good example? I'm trying to think of a good example of a pun. Okay, Snow from Dragon Ball. Her name is Snow. In the Funimation dub, they called her Suno. Her name is fucking Snow.
Yeah.
Okay, Suno. Like, if you're gonna say Suno, you might as well say Torankusu, Vegeta, Seru, Furiza. You might as well go full fucking weeb, you know? I never understood Suno. Alright, let's move on.
They probably thought Snow sounded silly, which is weird considering some of the names of characters in that show.
Here's a good question for you. Who would win in a match? End of Z Tenshinhan versus SSJ Bardock from the special?
I'm gonna give it to Bardock.
Because of his transformation?
Yeah, because even though his power level is only like 10,000, that's still 50 times 10,000.
Yeah, which is a lot. I don't know. I'm not doing the math right now. Okay. Is it possible for Monaka to be Frieza's mother? No. I'm deleting that. I'm not even going to read. I'm sorry. I deleted the question. I'm not even going to read the rest of it. It's either a troll or somebody who isn't very...
It's like it's either a troll or an Aspie, and I don't want to read it either way.
All right. Let's see here. Let's answer this question from Mr. Toussaint. Okay. Do you think after how fun, entertaining, and informative breaking episode 35 of DBS was, you think Toei should release an episode every other week so they have more time to explain each episode and dive into it? Also, they can make the choreography and animation smooth like with episode 35. Okay. People seem to have people don't seem to understand this, okay? Mr. Toussaint, with all due respect. Dragon Ball is not made in 7 days. These episodes are not animated in 1 week. Sometimes they end up finishing them the last week because of scheduling problems. Dragon Ball Super episodes are made every month. They're monthly. In other words, the episode that aired last week was made a month ago. The process began a month ago. So even if they take a week off, and if you listen to my interview with Hujio, which not enough people listen to it, you would know this, that even if they take a week off, it's not going to improve the animation, and it's not going to improve the choreography for that week's episode, because that week's episode is already wrapped up and done. It might improve it for the 1 in 3 weeks, but if you watch my interview, it stated that Toei is so overworked that during that week off of Super, they're just going to work on another show.
It's especially not going to fix the choreography, because the choreography has more to do with the director, the storyboard artist. Like, that's them. So, like, if they don't know how to choreograph or how to frame a good fight, no matter how much time they have, it's still going to be a shit fight.
And also about him making the show bi-weekly, I've never heard of a successful show that's bi-weekly. It has to be weekly, monthly, yearly. Every other week is too, I feel... Have you ever heard of...
Crystal did it.
Did it? Okay, well, I'm glad that you're here to film
And it
me.
had production issues too, so.
Yeah, I heard it had animation issues anyways.
Yeah. So yeah, it really has to boil down to the directors that they're using, the storyboard artists, the animators. It's less about time and how they're managing their people, and the fact that they're cranking out so many shows. Because Dragon Ball isn't their only show. Toei's known for cranking out shit tons of kid shows,
and it's not just
on a
anime.
weekly basis.
It's not just anime. They do tokusatsu as well.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, as far as like their animation staff, because I mean, their animation division is going to be different from their live action division.
Oh yeah, but it's still an overworked company.
Yeah, and also don't forget that they're also doing probably outsourcing work for other countries, kind of like when they did Ninja Turtles back in the '80s. They're doing in between works for other studios.
Overworked.
Yeah, they are horribly overworked, and I don't know why, because they own all the most popular franchises ever. You'd think they'd have all the goddamn money, and they really wouldn't need to, but I don't know.
They need to hire some Mexicans on there, bro. Do you think it would be... Royce Hubbard writes, do you think it would be possible for Goku to control himself as an Uzaru when Vegeta created his artificial moon? I don't think so. I don't think he I think that again, headcanon time. I think that when they gain control of their Uzaru forms, I think that requires a special kind of training that only you can train in when you're Uzaru form. Maybe I'm wrong. There's no evidence to back this up, except for the fact that the only time we've seen a controlled Uzaru was from Vegeta and from like Bardock in the special.
Yeah, I would go. My stance on this is, yeah, if you're going manga canon, we don't have an answer. Manga canon doesn't have an answer. The anime canon, though, pretty much clearly shows, like, if Uzaru don't really remember shit. They don't, they're just kind of wild creatures for the most part, with the exception of a handful.
Yeah, who have learned to control it.
Yeah. And then you go into like GT, which is anime canon as well. That's, Goku needed some sort of catalyst to snap him out of it.
Is Hit a red-eyed Namek? No. Can you please
you hicks.
Can you please do Can you please do Q&As more often? They were one of the things that made you one of my favorite Dragon Ball YouTubers because you interacted with us fan. Well, I'm doing one right now, so I'm usually doing them every 2 weeks.
Wish granted, bitch.
Yeah. What antivirus do you use? I don't use antivirus. I'm an engineer. I don't need to. All right, read this one.
Please have Goku T23 on icons of the Dragon Ball community. He is 100% an icon because of his popularity. Honestly, he would be hilarious with his thoughts on the insides of Dragon Ball GT. God damn it. You know what? That's your show. You decide who's an icon. I don't know.
I don't know if this guy's quite an icon yet. Maybe he'll get there one day. Oh, sorry, I deleted one of the questions on accident. So whoever sent that, resend it, okay? So it was about the Ocean dub of Kai, which, by the way, nobody knows anything about.
Right? Shit.
When is the review for episode 35? It was 2. I do it right after the episode ends, fucker.
Right?
Like, fuck. All right.
But seriously, I mean, like the episode ends, 30 minutes later, your review is up.
That's right.
Like
sometimes
what?
less.
Like, do they want it like 5 minutes later?
That's not possible. If the review is 10 minutes long of me talking, it's literally impossible.
Clearly, you need to be recording this shit while you're watching the episode, and then upload it as soon as the episode ends.
I considered doing that, but I don't think I'll be doing that. Why do they say Kura instead of Cooler in Dokkan Battle from Clay? I don't know. I don't know why they chose that pronunciation. Okay, right here. This is a great question, I think, for you. So take it.
Hey, what is the best and most authentic way to get my friends into Dragon Ball the right way, giving them the inevitable hardcore Japanese experience, while at the same time slowly easing them into it? Also break it down by males, females, children, viewers. Okay.
Well, I will say one thing about children. In general, the subbed version is not for most kids, just to be real. So I would probably start with like the dub of Dragon Ball or Kai for that. But mostly because kids don't like reading subtitles, you know what I mean? That's more of a teenage adult thing in my experience.
Also, this really just kind of, I mean, you have to consider, like, do your friends care about watching subtitles? If they don't care about watching subtitles, getting them into it will be pretty easy, as long as you can get them into Dragon Ball specifically. You might have to maybe introduce them, because, trying to introduce them to something as big and overarching as the Dragon Ball franchise could be a little daunting. So maybe you want to start them off with like a movie. Like the Dragon Ball movies are a really good, I think, entry point into the franchise.
I agree
like,
there.
The first three movies, because you kind of get like a good feel for like the series, the more like hard fun elements, and then they can watch like the full arcs and see like how the actual story of the series progresses. And you can kind of hook them in with those movies, and then get them to watch the series after that, because Dragon Ball is huge. It's a very daunting series to get them into. I would definitely, like for like kids that you were saying, like Kai or something, it would be a good introduction for them. But yeah, if they're not into subs, you're not going to get them to watch it subbed, unfortunately. Like that's going to be like pulling teeth, and especially like if they've already watched if they've seen the dub. Well, then again, this is introducing them to.
Yeah, that's the thing. If they become hardcore, then the idea would be to explain to them from the beginning, listen, you can watch it in English if you want, but if you want the real experience, you got to watch it in Japanese. You got to hook them first.
Yeah, you have to explain them. It's like, like, especially if they're already, because I'm assuming these are people that already watch anime. So if they're already watching anime, then they're probably watching subs. And if they watch subs, you can be like, you can watch it dubbed, but like the dub butchers it. Like,
but I feel like if
how the dub butchers it.
I feel like if they're already watching anime, though, that's very rare case they haven't at least seen some Dragon Ball, right?
Honestly,
they're out there.
Really surprised. I mean, because a lot of people, because a lot of people just don't do shonen action. Some people just kind of turn their nose up at it, or some people will just watch some of the newer stuff. There's a whole generation of Crunchyroll kids who just watch the newest shit that comes out in Japan, and that's it. They don't watch the stuff that came prior. They don't really care about older shows, no matter how much of a legacy it has. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say, if they're into anime, as long if they're willing to watch subs, it shouldn't be that hard. I say introduce them through the movies to get them kind of hooked in. The first 3 Dragon Ball movies, hook them in that way, and then if they want to watch more, give them the show with subs.
He's asking also about males and females. My perspective on that is there really shouldn't be that much of a difference, because there's girls that like Dragon Ball. I think he's kind of more going towards like the whole gender role of like, girls like their little romance and shit, which a lot of people seem to assume that girls don't like Dragon Ball. There's tons of female Dragon Ball fans. If you know the girl and she's into like comic books and superheroes and shit, and she's not one of those girls that only watches The Notebook, it should be relatively easy. But you have to understand, you have to know your audience. If the girl is not into shonen type, not shonen anime, but like, superheroes and combat and, fathers and sons and that kind of shit, she's probably not going to like Dragon Ball. I mean, let's be real about it.
Yeah,
or not care enough.
Someone. Yeah, I mean, you can't force someone to like something that they would, that they're not going to normally be into. It's just how it is.
What do you think of DB Tuber McGoldrick? Okay, I've talked to McGoldrick once. I haven't seen his channel in a while. He seems like a nice guy, but I really don't know him. Do you remember that guy, McGoldrick?
I've never heard of him.
Yeah, he
honestly, like, I'm gonna tell you right now, like, I barely watch any Dragon Ball tubers. Like, outside the ones that I am friends with, I don't watch any of them.
Yeah, because you hate them
and even
all.
the ones I'm friends with, some of them I don't watch their content.
Yeah, Quinn.
I'm sorry, Quinn.
And Quinn. And me. Sometimes. You watch a third of my content.
There you go.
I'll take it. Okay, these questions about Frieza. Okay, we already did the Frieza Q&A, buddy. I put it on Twitter. If you missed it, too bad. Go ask Frieza. Again, they're asking Frieza questions here. I'm not going to answer any Frieza questions, okay? You versus Mike from LSM, who will win? Electatops. In what, like a pie eating contest? Because he would win that one. Okay. This is
the dumbest fucking question I've seen so far.
If you ask Electatops, I don't know if you just got into the series. Maybe, you know what it is, Zeon? I'm going to be very loose here. Maybe Electatops only saw Kai, has no idea what the Buu Saga is, and just assumes that Cell is the strongest character in Dragon Ball Z because he never saw the Buu Saga of Kai. Maybe he's like a 10-year-old kid, right?
The thing is, though, like, how would you know what SSGSS is?
Because they watched Kai and then went to go see Resurrection F without seeing anything else. Zeon, there's people like that, dude, who, and I've talked about this with Dino and some of the other guys. Kai is somewhat problematic. I love Kai, but Zeon, There are fans now growing up on Kai who have no idea what the Buu Saga is, who have no idea what Dragon Ball is, and their only exposure to Dragon Ball is Kai. And to me, that's not good.
God, it's so backwards because like I remember like as soon as I found out that there was a Dragon Ball like in the early days where internet was a scarce thing, like I was infinitely fascinated. Like I wanted to know as much about this show as I possibly could when I first got introduced to it.
I mean, I don't know. The thing is that it's just kids that are very, very casual. They watch Kai, but they don't know shit about regular Dragon Ball. So, will the Blu-rays for the Asian Dragon Ball Super English dub include the Japanese version with English subtitles? There's not even an announcement for this yet, bro.
Right.
We already did a video about this. Check out Quinn's channel. Is there any chance the Saban Ocean dub could be re-released this year to celebrate the 20th anniversary of DBZ anime in America? No, and I'll tell you why. Because it was already re-released in the Rock the Dragon set. They're not going to put it on Blu-ray. It's very, very... There's not a demand for it.
Yeah. To put it on Blu-ray also, you would have to take the original footage and recut it, like the original uncut footage that they have made for their Blu-rays, and recut it to the old Ocean dub, and then re-censor all the censored bits.
Or they would have to take the original Ocean dub DVDs and somehow up-convert them and look like shit.
Yeah. Either way, like, it's either going to look like ass or it's going to be a pain in the dick for them to do.
Evan James, here's a good question for us. What movie other than Civil War and Avengers 3 are you looking forward to in Phase 3 of the MCU?
All of them.
I kind of agree. Except for Thor. I don't really care about Thor that much.
Fuck Thor. Never mind. I forgot. See, I forgot Thor was because the first two Thor movies were pretty goddamn mediocre. But yeah, like Captain Marvel, I am super stoked for. The Inhumans. I don't know jack shit about the Inhumans, but I've been like seeing them in
Agents of Shield.
People, Agents of Shield. Not the Inhumans, like the actual team that's going to be in the movie, but like the idea of Inhumans that they're developing in this universe. So I'm getting super excited about that. Doctor Strange, I'm super stoked for. Black Panther, a new Spider-Man that will hopefully be like a definitive live-action interpretation. Yeah, I don't think there's a single thing in the MCU for Phase 3 that I'm not super... Oh, Ant-Man and Wasp. Like, I finally get to see Wasp on the big screen. Yeah, I am... Like, I don't think there's a single one of those that I'm not just... Yeah. Like, they all sound great except for Thor.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
Oh, yeah, shit, yeah, that too.
There's a lot.
I know some people are going to be like, what's wrong with the Thor movies? It's like, they're not good.
They're just very mediocre, I think is the word that we both use.
Yeah, they're bland. They're bland.
They could have been better.
Like, they're not as well executed as some of the other ones. They're not the worst movies. I mean, they're not Iron Man 3 at least, so.
Okay. This question kind of irritates me. All right. He says, you didn't answer my question last time, but why do you only play the Kai English dub? It's in the background. Why can't you just watch it like with your face looking at the TV? Are you embarrassed to watch series in English, or do you feel it's morally wrong to do so? Okay. You have comprehension issues, my friend. What I said was, sometimes when I'm cleaning my house or when I'm studying something else or reading, I'll have Kai on in the background in English. People do this. People, when they're vacuuming their houses, they'll have something on the TV in the background. Does it mean I've never watched it? No. Does it mean I don't like it? No. When people you're probably a 13-year-old kid who's jacking off in his fucking mother's house. She probably does everything for you, cleaning your crunchy fucking socks, and you have no conception of how real people live. Okay? That's probably the truth. Sometimes I'll have Monday Night Raw on in the background while I talk to my Skype friends or while I'm writing a script. George Lucas plays classical music in the background while he writes his Star Wars movies. It's fucking normal.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'll listen to video game soundtracks while I'm writing scripts. It's like, or I'll pop a podcast in the background or something, people do this shit.
How many of us, like, go to work and have headphones on and listen to music or a podcast while we work? Like, all of us do that.
Yeah, I do it. Yeah, I did it earlier tonight. Like,
it has nothing to do with me being embarrassed to watch series in English. I've said I like the Kai dub. I interviewed Chris Sabat. You stupid moron.
Yeah, like, I don't... Oh, my God.
God, you're stupid.
Fuck. All right.
Fuck.
Someone wrote the same question twice.
Yeah, I know. That's a two-part question, but we'll answer it the best that we can here. Here's the second part.
Okay.
Okay, I know you said the ocean dub of Kai is the Harmony Gold of Dragon Ball. Episodes, not movies that no one ever saw, but that's not a good analogy. The controversy over the Harmony Gold episodes because they allegedly aired and went unnoticed. Okay, fair enough. The ocean dub of Kai, from what we know, was produced and confirmed by several of the actors, but supposedly the company has been having troubles getting a TV deal. How can you compare it to its apples and oranges? The comparison was a joke. The comparison was that Harmony Gold did episodes of Dragon Ball that nobody has been able to produce on YouTube or anywhere on the internet or even on VHS tapes. The ocean dub of Kai, we have not seen a single snippet of the ocean dub of Kai. That's the analogy. It has nothing to do with what's really going on behind the scenes. It's these two products that exist that we've never seen.
Man, fuck this guy, seriously. I mean, like, what a fucking pedantic dick. It's like, you know, it's a fucking analogy, dude. It's not going to be a one-to-one. Eat a fat one.
Stop finishing people's sentences, you faggot. Okay, first of all, spelling it like that, it's so cringy and unprofessional. You did it to Mike LeBrie, to Heath Cutler, and did it to Chris Sabat. Well, that's great. So when Chris Sabat said he loved the interview, that pretty much shits all over what you just said. So please, suck it easy. So these people, bro, they're so... Why haven't you done a Q&A in so long? Fuck you.
Oh, man, that... yeah, sucking yourself into entitled piece of shit.
Am I acting like a dick right now, Zeon? Should I calm down?
No, fuck him. Like,
All
seriously,
right.
that is entitled horseshit. Hey, why aren't you providing me with entertainment? Why aren't you sucking my dick right now?
Yeah,
bitch?
Like, these people don't understand that these videos will take time, bro. This question's been asked like 100 times. I'm gonna keep erasing it. I already answered it with Frieza, with the Frieza Q&A. Let's go down here. Do you think the voice acting in Xenoverse was good? I thought it was okay.
I thought it was pretty, like, oh god,
It was
so
for a
lifeless and
game.
I don't know, man, because like I've seen games with some pretty damn good voice acting, and like I know they're like they're on like a really tight time schedule, but like trying to list that up because I don't hate like Funimation's voice acting at all. I hate their translation for their old Dragon Ball Z and GT and all that stuff. But like Kai, I think sounds fantastic. I think the new movies sound fantastic. Xenoverse was just so cringy. I'm like, God, it's so like everyone was just reading off their lines with no emotion. It was terrible.
I feel like that's just how it is for video games, though. Like, a lot of the games have that problem, not just Xenoverse, you know?
I don't know. Maybe I haven't... Well, no. Well, I'm trying to think, like... Well, then again, the last game I played with voice acting was Metal Gear Solid, so I don't know if that's a fair example.
No, those seem to have better quality.
Right.
All right, answer this one, or try to answer it, because there really is no answer. Take it.
Great content, Big D. Now it sounds like I'm sucking your dick.
I know, that's why I had you. That's why I had you.
You son of a bitch. I've gone back and watched most of your Q&As and had not heard this yet. But why has the Muten Roshi never learned to fly? You would bring, bleh. You would think with the amount of key control he had with his attacks, his experience, it wouldn't take nearly bleh. Dude, learn to write. Learn to structure a sentence. I mean, Vidal could do it so fast.
That's a good point.
Why? I mean, because I don't think he was really aware of the Bukujutsu technique until he saw in the 22nd tournament. So
why wouldn't he learn it right after that, though? I mean, he was still a warrior. I mean, he does bring up a good point. He should have learned this thing.
I don't know, because I mean, the last time he was really combative,
Piccolo, right?
and actively training was during the Piccolo thing, and he was kind of dealing with the Piccolo thing, and then after that, it's just like he like during the 22nd tournament was pretty much him stepping down and leaving things to the new generation to move martial arts forward.
I guess that makes sense. It's just I just think that he probably should have at least learned that because it would have been useful.
Look, okay, he wants to just sit around jerking off the nudie mags, all right? He doesn't have time to learn how to fly.
That's it. You pretty much answered it right there. All right. What will you look like at age 50? How the fuck should I know? Happy Green Beer Day. Thanks. Mr. Satan versus Keiko from episode 1. Mr. Satan. Then again, I don't know because.
I don't know, because like Goku broke a fucking 3 bricks with his finger.
Yeah, and not to mention
like
he
Mr.
learned
Satan, he broke like 15 tiles, which is an equally impressive feat. I just think it might be a close fight. I'll say that much. It'll be a close fight.
Yeah. I have lately been trying to power scale non-canon forms for characters in DBZ just for fun. Well, go subscribe to Unreal Entertainment Gaming for that kind of shit. Do you know of any YouTubers that do that? I'd like to see somebody power scale the
Unreal,
LS. Yeah, I love this right here. I want to see somebody power scale LSSJ3 Broly and other DB Hero fan service. Yeah, Unreal. Go subscribe to him. And Kagi. Platinum Cell, Xeon.
Yes.
Why is Frieza weaker than me, Vegito? I don't know. He's asking more Frieza questions. Goku confused with Katy Perry. Not really a question here. Let's see here. Okay, this is a fun little question from Evan James. Who's the smartest IQ-wise in Dragon Ball? Garo, Briefs, Bulma, Zuno? I would say it's probably Garo and Briefs because Zuno is all about knowledge, not necessarily high IQ.
Yeah, like knowing a shit ton of stuff doesn't necessarily mean you're intelligent. I don't know. Is Dr. Brief smarter than Bulma?
I just assume that he is because he was the original inventor of the Hoi Poi capsules, and she's his protege.
True,
but
because I mean, you're talking about a woman though who made a fucking time machine.
Yes, well, future Bulma, I suppose. But then again, I would assume present Bulma could as well. The real question to me is Garo.
I'm gonna go with Garo though, just because they were unable to. What was it? There was something that they couldn't do to 16 because 16 was so damn advanced.
Well, I thought they were. Well, weren't they trying to? I think they were trying to disable the explosives, and instead they just took it out. Or no, they were trying to something like that. Yeah, I don't know. Garo created. Here's why Garo wins. Garo used technology that he had in the Dragon Ball world on Earth, not even Frieza technology, even though there is an argument that could be made that the spy robot, and I thought about this, Xeon, when the spy robot took Frieza's cells, it's possible that there was data that he took from Frieza that Dr. Garo analyzed to create more advanced artificial humans. That could be a possible theory, and again, it's just a theory. But still, Garo created artificial humans that were essentially stronger than Super Saiyans by a significant degree. And to me, that is like, these guys were fucking nuclear. So to me, like, that kind of puts him at the top, really. By himself, too.
Yeah, I mean, I do think Garo, like the tech he created, I mean, it was way, I mean, his cybernetics were so far, like, it was a huge gap between, like, the cybernetics that, like, he created and, like, the shit that, like, Frieza had at his disposal. And we already know that like, Frieza's, like, everyone in space had way more advanced tech. So the fact that he created, like, honestly, I always thought it was kind of bullshit. It's one of the many things I don't like about the artificial human arc. But that aside, I think it shows that he's ridiculously fucking intelligent, way beyond anyone else on Earth.
The only thing that made sense to me is my own little headcanon that I said, where maybe when Frieza came to Earth and the spy robot took Frieza's data, that Garo was able to, like, dissect the data and discover some of the technology that Frieza's army had cultivated, right? And maybe he used that alien technology, he reverse engineered it. And that, to me, that actually makes the most sense. I kind of wish that they would have explained that in the series. I wish I was Toriyama, because that makes sense to me. Like, they took Frieza...
It doesn't make sense to me because, like, the spy robot was just accruing DNA.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying, that if Dr. Garo's so brilliant, maybe he took that DNA, and maybe because Frieza's body was cybernetically modified, I'm saying maybe there were nanobots inside of Frieza's body that Garo could have, because remember, he is a genius, he could have reverse engineered it, and that would have helped him come closer to making the artificial humans. Because, they took Frieza's corpse and turned it into a cyborg monster. That's a pretty advanced technology. So who's to say that Garo didn't use some of that technology to take Lapis and Lazuli and convert them into 18 and 17? It's headcanon, but I feel that if Toriyama explained that, I would kind of swallow it a little bit better.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like every time Toriyama explains something in an interview, I like Dragon Ball a little less.
Yeah, I kind of agree. He said,
because he comes up with some of the most dumb shit things. Because it's very clear, like, they put him on the spot, and he just reached up his ass for an explanation.
Yes, and a lot of times it contradicts what he said in the original manga.
Now, seriously, like, I want to see a goddamn interviewer just make a list of like every question he's ever answered as far as Dragon Ball lore goes, and ask it to him again to see how closely he sticks to his bullshit answers he gave like 5 years ago or 20 years ago.
He doesn't even remember. You know.
Right.
Now, we talked about Kaioken before. Andre Ratchford has a question here. Do you think a God Key user utilizing the Kaioken would have a drastically different aura from a normal Key user? Also, do you think the technique would be better utilized by a God Key user outside of potency? There's no answer to this. Like, we could sit here at Xeon and circle jerk ourselves for half an hour trying to figure this out. But because
I figure...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, the only thing that would okay, again, we can circle jerk this, but let's see if we can not circle jerk it. The only thing that makes sense is that yes, it would have a better potency because the Kaioken is the Kaioken created by Kaio-sama, who is a god. So who's to say that the Kaioken, because it is a godly technique, would not have an adversely better effect? In fact, I'll be honest with you, Xeon. I feel that if Goku and Vegeta used the Kaioken in Dragon Ball Super, I think it would actually make more sense because they could actually say, and again, we're talking fan fiction, they could say, well, we have discovered that the Kaioken works better with God Ki because it is a god's technique. So they could actually bring the Kaioken back. They're not going to do it, but I'm saying it would actually kind of make sense because of the connection to Kaio.
Right. Thing is, though, I feel like people overhype God Key way too much. It's like, oh man, God Key, he's a god. It's like, guys, gods aren't omnipotent in Dragon Ball. They get their asses kicked a lot. Frieza was a non-god, and he was wrecking the shit out of Goku for like the first half of that fight.
That's right.
And, you know, we look at all the other gods. Dende's a god. Kaio's a god. Kaio was a god who couldn't even master the Kaioken himself.
That's weird, but yeah. Yeah, I'm just saying that would have made more sense if maybe they figured out that the Kaioken actually came from Kaioshin and not Kaio-sama, because to me, that's a good retcon. That Kaio-sama knew the technique, but he learned it from a Kaioshin, and I think that makes more sense. But again, that's my own fan fiction. That's not stated in the series. So there's no answer to this question. You know?
Right.
All right, take this one.
Geekdom, after the death of Kurin, after the 22nd Tenkaichi Budokai, Goku and my version of the manga said, oh god damn it, my version of the manga. Oh, okay, sorry. I thought he was about to spout off like some fan fiction.
No, it's like
I was about to get really upset.
I think he's reading like a fan version or a Viz version.
My version of the manga says something along the lines of, it's time for revenge, assuming he said something like that in the Viz or Japanese manga. How come Son Goku could ride Kinto-un even though his thoughts were impure? It is a total fucking plot hole because Goku was a fucking malicious motherfucker during that part of the manga.
It is a plot hole, and that's a very good question from Masai Williams. That's actually a question that requires thought, which, let's be honest, a lot of questions don't. Not to say that my audience is entirely dumb. I'm just saying that question actually required some real critical thinking to ask.
Oh, yeah.
And the answer is, who the fuck knows?
Yeah, it is just straight up a plot hole. That's all there is to it. You know, Toriyama really wasn't thinking about it. Honestly, it would have been kind of interesting if Goku would have just fallen through the Kinto-un at some point. Because he was out for blood. He was straight up looking to kill a motherfucker.
Yeah, okay. I agree. This question, Future Gohan versus Future Trunks when he first arrived slices Frieza. Well, Future Trunks was stronger at that point. Versus end of Buu arc Tenshinhan. Future Trunks wins, I think. Would you agree?
I don't give a shit about versus questions.
Yeah, William Sywick. And that's what I'm saying. That's you know, who is the oldest and youngest YouTuber in the DBZ community? I would think that I'm the oldest.
Yeah, because you got me beat by that by week
1
and a half.
Yeah, 1 week and a half. The youngest.
Is it Quinn? No, I'm sorry. No,
Josh.
Joey, right?
Well, Josh is the oldest and the youngest, if you want to go by our canon. But
right.
If you want me to break, here's actually a question for you. This is gonna be a good question. All right, I'm excited. I'm looking. That's gonna be the last question right here.
Okay.
Okay, but the youngest, I guess, is there somebody younger there? Well, no, it's not Josh because Dr. Love is. Sorry, Dr. Love is gonna get mad. I reveal his age. He's 17, and Corey and the Pussy, who's actually he closed his channel, so I don't know if you count him, is actually younger than that. So I would say the youngest is somebody. I'm not going to give away the guy's age, but there is somebody who's like in their early teens that does Dragon Ball videos. There's a few guys, actually. Actually, there's one guy who I particularly cannot stand, who I'm not going to say his name, who's like 9 years old. So I guess he would be the youngest. But he's not really in the community because he alienated himself by trolling all of us. You know who I'm talking about, right, Xeon? Don't say his name, but that fucking retard from Twitter.
Oh, that faggot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I blocked that son of a bitch a long time ago.
Yeah, I blocked him.
I didn't know he was part of the community.
All 12 accounts. Well, I mean, I guess he's saying on YouTube. I don't know. But as far as our group goes, it would be Josh.
Yeah.
Mentally, it's probably Mike, though. All right. This is the best question we've ever gotten, bro. Who is our true... Do you want to read it or do I?
I'll tell you what, you read, because there's a lot of spelling errors, and I don't do well with those.
All right, this is the last question of the Q&A. Who is our true leader and the king of all nerds? Hail Xeon or you? We the people must know there could be only one and you claim to have hoes. So if you're not lying on your dick, it's Hail Xeon, but I'm still not sure because Rhyme Style's kind of lame. To then LAUGHINGSTOCK media is a fat ass. So who is our true king of nerds?
Best final question ever.
I don't know how to answer that, bro.
What does he mean by hoes? Does he just mean like random floozies that you fuck, or is that like his term for girlfriends and getting laid?
Yeah, but if we talk about getting random hoes, Jay's gimmick.
Jay is the king of random hoes. I mean, you talk about like girlfriends and just like we are nerds who have had girlfriends and relationships and have had sex. Yes.
Yeah, well, that's you.
We have a cavalcade of loose women to just stick our dicks in. That's Jay, but Jay doesn't have the nerd cred. So.
Well, right now, I will say this, and this is going to piss some people off. Out of all of us, bro, only you, me, Rhyme Style, and Jay have actually, had experience in this. So,
right.
No, I'm kidding. I don't want to piss people off. I'm kidding, all right? We've had the most experience, all right? Obviously, right? Okay, but anyways, I don't know who the king of the nerds is, to be honest. I don't know.
Yeah, this depends on what you consider king of the nerds. I mean, when it comes to like Dragon Ball knowledge, you have me beat.
Yeah, but you have me beat on anime knowledge.
Yeah, just anime in general, though. I have you... Like everyone else in our group trounced.
Yeah, and that's fine. And then
like Star Wars, you have me beat on. I probably have you beat on some comic book stuff. It just, I think '80s cartoons were pretty dead even.
Yeah, and
we all grew up with the same nerdy shit.
And Dino's pretty good at video game stuff. Same thing with Toasty. So.
Yeah, and I don't know that much about gaming. Like I'm a very casual gamer. So it really just depends, like, what you would consider, like, king nerd. I mean, because you and I both love Star Trek. I mean...
I would say you have me beat a little bit on the Star Trek. Because I have to go back and rewatch it.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, I love me some Star Trek. I love playing D&D. I play video games casually. I pretty much, like, hit all the nerd stuff. I fucking hate Lord of the Rings, though, so maybe that just completely destroys my nerd cred.
Now,
so
when you say you hate Lord of the Rings, is it the films and the books, or just the films?
I've never tried reading the book. I tried reading The Hobbit. I actually enjoyed reading The Hobbit when I read of The Hobbit. I really did enjoy. The movie was boring as fuck.
Well, which one? There's 3 of them.
The whole fucking thing, like all 3 of those movies, like the first one was the most entertaining because it was like the most lighthearted and fun.
I agree.
And then the other one was just like a bunch of strung together fucking action sequences that were boring as shit.
I agree with you.
And
The Hobbit movies.
Lord of the Rings, and as we were talking about yesterday, it's just a movie about walking. Even the fucking trees walked in that movie.
And the thing is too that here's what I'll say about the books. The books for Lord of the Rings are I grew up a fan of the books, but the thing about the books is that there's things that are better in the books and things that are not better. It's less drawn out with the walking. However, there's a section in Fellowship of the Ring, the book, when they go to Rivendell. It's 2 chapters, and when I say 2 chapters, I'm not talking about short chapters. They're literally in Rivendell doing the Council of the Elves or whatever for it has to be like 35 to 45 pages, and it just goes on and on and on and on. So the whole dragging shit on thing happens in Fellowship as well. But it's a novel. I mean, novels do that. I mean, if you read like The Dark Tower, for example, like Stephen King draws shit out, bro, like crazy. And I like King, but he does tend to draw things out. So I don't know. But anyways, Xeon, we're done.
Yep.
All right, well, everybody check out Hail Xeon. Let's see if we can get Xeon to 5K here. And here's the thing, all right, let me tell you all something real quick before you even do that. If you're going to go subscribe to Hail Xeon, all right, understand, and you should, understand that Xeon's very critical and Xeon's very truthful. And if you have trouble handling that,
don't even bother fucking clicking
don't
the
even bother
subscribe button.
subscribing. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Xeon's
like do not subscribe to me because it's like, oh well, Danny recommended them. No, like just watch some videos. If you like them, sub. If you don't, fuck it, I don't care really. But you know, I do appreciate it if you do and you enjoy my content.
And Xeon also has a different perspective on things. So again, if you're on YouTube just to hear somebody kind of validate your opinion, you might not get that with Xeon. But if you're open-minded enough to kind of explore an alternate point of view, and the thing that's kind of true is your point of view might be the same as theirs, and they don't even know it yet. Then subscribe. And Xeon's very entertaining. That's the most important thing. Just Xeon. Who cares about that heavily edited shit? Just watch Xeon sitting on a couch and talking, and going, "Oh man. The fuck this show." So anyway,
the last couple episodes have been pretty good, so I haven't been miserable. I haven't slit my wrist in weeks.
Well, yeah, I was gonna make a mean joke, not about you, about somebody that we know, but I'm not gonna do it. Anyways, I'll catch y'all down the road.